Just one moment, T. All right, T minus 10, 9, 8, turkey sandwich, T minus 10, 9, 8. Oh, it's starting right up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Okay, before the room starts filling up, let me say hello and hi to everyone. I would like for this Grammarly thing to get out of my way. Goodness. Hello, everybody. Everybody. Y'all hear what's going on? I know y'all do. So now that I have the time, I want to talk about it. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing, 1, 2, 10. Let me make sure I have my sound up loud enough. Y'all like this black background? It's so professional. This is Celebrity News and Ting, so I needed to throw up the other background for it. Let me see here. I have press the like button. Let me gonna drop that down in the comments. Everybody is talking about it, and I want to talk about it too. No fair, no fair. Everyone else gets to talk about it. I want to talk about it too. Ah, there. And before the room fills up, I can have everything set up, and I can kind of stay focused on everything else. Copy and paste, and I'm gonna put a survey in here too. Copy and put that in there. I can hear myself testing, 1, 2, 3. Ollie, oxen free. LA, are you there? A present. I am present. Pin message to the top. Let me go into settings to make sure it's open to the public. It's best to make sure, at least for my sake, because it's like everything is alive and settings change on me. So let me put the redirect video on so you guys can go there after the video is over. Have you heard what's going on? I know you have. Let me put the poll in here. Do you think, unfortunately, do you think Jess is gonna get fired? That's what I'm gonna put in the survey today. Man, I don't want that to happen. I had no idea all this stuff was going around surrounding her until I started really diving into it like yesterday when I had some spare time. And it seems like the day before yesterday too. I had no idea that she had a tiff with another comedian, a male comedian that I follow. He don't really like Jess that much. I'm like, what, Corey Holcomb? You guys, did you know those two, well, at least Corey didn't like Jess like that? Man, he really went in on her really bad. It kind of felt like the magnitude or the weight of Cat Williams and Tiffany Haddish. You know how Cat Williams really seemed to just go in on Tiffany, saying that she didn't earn her spot in the comedy scene, that it just was just there. Well, that same energy to me is transpiring between Corey Holcomb and Jess Hilarious. I listened to different versions of Corey get played on 3 different social media platforms, and each platform provided more than the other by bits and snippets. And then after that, I decided to actually go to Corey's actual platform and listen to the whole thing all together. And it had the beginning, the mid, it had an intro, another intro, beginning, middle, and end as to his whole story of why he don't really like Jess Hilarious. And I was like, wow. I could say, Jess, I am sorry that you're going through another storm right now. I don't like the way things are happening because it reminds me of this whole TGIF thing that happened. Do you remember when the TGIF debacle happened? When did that happen? Because I made multiple videos. Well, I made several videos in reference to the TGIF stuff happening. How it ignited, was doing so well. And then Funky Dineva left because he didn't like when they renegotiated the contract, how he was going to pretty much get paid the same thing but have to do more of the work. Hey, welcome, Al. Thank you for coming in. Shouts out. Thank you for coming in. And everyone who is here, who is coming in as incognito, thank you for coming in, because you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here in public and private. So Funky Dineva decided to sign his own walking papers, and he left TGIF because he didn't agree with the contract. He wanted more money because they were asking him to do more work. I get it. And so the next thing is, it reminds me of how they had to go through rotating guests, people to visit on the show. They had T.S. Madison. They had this one guy, I think, who I don't think he's a permanent fixture, but he's been in there long enough. I think he works with RuPaul Drag Race. They had him in a rotating seat on TGIF for auditions. They had, unfortunately, Flame Monroe. And I say unfortunately because it's a whole beef between Funky Dineva and Flame Monroe that sparked the airwaves when he was on there. Do y'all remember who else TGIF had as rotating panelists? It was another guy on there. I don't remember his name, but everyone kind of thought he was going to be the pick. But the word on the curve is everyone did seem to like him, but they said he was just too laid back. Too laid back so much that he wouldn't have really had any input on the show. That's what I'm gathering. So then it was Armand Wiggins. Armand Wiggins got the #1 spot, replacing the seat/chair of Funky Dineva on the TGIF Friday show on Fox Soul. I was hoping and praying, in the words of King Pain, hoping and wishing and praying and hoping and wishing and praying and hoping and wishing and praying. Shouts out King Pain. Meow, meow, meow. I was hoping that Armand wasn't going to mess this up. I was like, please, this is his other opportunity. He had several opportunities. They came and went. They could have been handled a different way. Here's his one shiny moment, and look what happened. Fighting in the hen house amongst themselves. The fire got too big and it vomited all out on the public airways for the world to see. So here we are again. It's happening again in real time on another quote unquote Black culture coveted podcast known as Breakfast Club. It's imploding on itself, and I hope that this time around on the Breakfast Club implosion, that they don't just 86 the whole show all together. Are you all together? Yeah, are you all together? Shouts out DD from What's Happening, if y'all remember that show. I'm rolling my eyes in my mind and in actuality because I just don't want this to play out amongst people, man. But it seems to me, from what I'm personally gathering, it seems that Jess tried to address them publicly. Shouts out Kanye West for Vultures Part 1 when he was like, publicly. She tried to address this behind the scenes, according to what I'm gathering by way of Jess. But she wasn't getting anywhere. So it was going on too long. Too long. Oh, shouts out Mary J. Blige. Too long. Too strong for too long. And I can't live without you, babe. So she had to address it to the public by way of the way she did it. Was it on Instagram Live, y'all? Man, she belted out a boat, BOAT, load on that live. And I was able to see the vertical live by way of Sky Santana. It dropped in my feed really like spot on. It was like, oh my gosh, something's happening with Jess Hilarious. I'm like, what? No, I hope it's not what I think it is that I've been kind of seeing and was hoping that that wasn't what I was seeing. Well, it's happening. It really seems by way of the vertical rant that Jess Hilarious did. She had enough. She tried to handle things behind the scenes and she wasn't getting anywhere. And it seems that nobody who had a position of power over her, i.e., who wrote her checks, was really helping her. They were like giving her the runaround. So that's pretty bad. I think that's how this happened. Kind of like Armand Wiggins. Let's just loosely use that as an example so we can tie all these together. So y'all can go watch my TGIF playlist. That and the truth of the matter is unfortunately happening the same way. If they don't feel like their personal opinions are getting addressed and it goes on for too long and they're getting fed up and they do the unthinkable, they'll take it to the streets of the public opinion. Shouts out Al, who has the court of public opinion now. Al Reynolds was on TGIF. TGIF is no longer a thing. My way of Jess Hilarious taking this to the court of public opinion, I don't think it went as well as how Wendy Williams took her grievances out to the court of public opinion. Unfortunately, as I've been listening throughout the couple of days of podcasters giving their opinion on what they think about Jess Hilarious, being that she aired out her grievances on the vertical feed, the truth is coming out and people are just unfortunately saying that they are not really wanting her there anyways. Jess Hilarious got pregnant right on the cusp of her getting this glorious job that she always wanted. She went on maternity leave and was gone just as soon as she got introduced to her audience. For us to really embrace her after the warm welcoming of her being on Breakfast Club, and the ones who voted for her, i.e. myself, wanting her to be there, it was either her or Claudia Jordan. So when she went on maternity leave, I was hoping in my mind she would at least take the Wendy Williams route and still try to incorporate her presence, her stage presence on the Breakfast Club and work at it from home, like have the studio equipment there, have a little room dedicated to herself, because if she had to have bed rest, yeah, that's definitely mandatory. So in my mind, I was really hoping that this was the way that Jess went. But it just didn't seem like it was going that way. And there were times, if I can remember correctly, I did see her air from home, but I think that was after she had the baby. And I thought that was really cool. I thought it was going to be a continuation, but even though I was happy to see her airing from home, there wasn't enough pizzazz behind it. There wasn't enough zest behind it. I know she had a baby and she was tired. So then lies the situation of her having to choose between career of a dream job and a baby. I just honestly think there wasn't anyone behind her rooting for her to see things for what they were, to show her, Jess, you have the best of both worlds. You're a mom now. And on top of being a mom, you have one of your dream jobs. Let's make this work for your favor. And let's get into it the best way we can. Let's do right by Breakfast Club and give them the best that we have by way of being at home, airing the podcast from the comfort of your home while holding your baby and doing your best. I think that's where it flatlined at. I don't think she had anyone behind her to keep the blindfolds on of her seeing all the successes. It seems to me that she got lost in the sauce of the comments because she didn't emphasize on, I think, today's Breakfast Club where she was, reading the comments about what people were saying about her. And people are going to comment. Beyonce don't go into the comments allegedly, but that's what she says. But sometimes comments are good, even though some of them can be brutally honest. If you want to walk the fine line of some type of criticism, it is good on a day when you are mentally prepared for it to breeze through the comments and see on a scale of what are people saying about you and what you probably could fix. I'm hoping that they might have time to work this out, and I really do hope that Jess sees this. I don't want her to lose her job. I don't want her to go out like that. I want them to find a way to work her into the segment. No different from how much I wanted TGIF to work. I really wanted them to work, but it seems to me everybody's attitudes were getting in the way, everybody's egos were getting in the way, and it didn't allow time for the situation to breathe and transpire in a more wholesome adult professional way. It got too much and they just pulled the plug. I don't want this to happen to Breakfast Club. I don't want Breakfast Club to get too comfortable and be like, we're Breakfast Club, this isn't going to happen. Times are changing, so it might happen to y'all this time. I need you guys to figure out a way to make this work so we don't lose yet another podcast. So, I'm gonna go on memory. Do you guys remember if you saw the current Breakfast Club powwow meeting they had today? They tried to work out their grievances online today and bring the girls together. Jess said her piece first. Well, she tried to get her piece across. And I think by way of just being on there with the two guys and herself having the opportunity to speak showed, unfortunately, all the stuff she may have to deal with on the day in and day out basis during work and while she's at home. It's obvious that everyone conversates with one another even when they are not on the set. So that means we don't know how many text messages she's been getting when she's at home from them, and if they've been filled with words that are starting to try say things, shady things in these text messages. We don't know what's going on. But it sure put a bigger magnifying glass on what could possibly be going on the Breakfast Club set. I mean, after all, she is on the set with guys, and technically it's still a man's world, and the radio airwaves is a man's thing. Women have done a great job of breaking through this whole thing and getting in there. Shouts out Wendy Williams. But it is what it is. I want to make sure I keep to my thoughts. After Jess Hilarious had the floor, I saw another video clip that was clipped out of the today's Breakfast Club interview or powwow meeting, and the other woman was on there. And those two women were just airing out their grievances and talking about what they would have liked and to iron out misunderstandings and miscommunications. Collectively and all together, some BS going on from all of them in the direction of screwing over Jess Hilarious. I want Jess Hilarious to find a better way to stick up for herself instead of caving into emotion and making the wrong decision and walking away from something you always wanted. Find a way to work yourself into the Breakfast Club situation so you don't leave on a bad term. You don't want to leave that way. You want to leave on your own terms, but you don't want to leave on your own terms under the guise of them getting on your nerves and you're like, oh, just forget it. I am sorry that this happened, but I think there still might be time to work things out. Because there's so many segments that you can make for yourself just as quickly as you ran off the meal of thinking of segments for the fourth chair. I'm quite sure you can think of segments for yourself quickly so you can include and incorporate yourself in there. Because it will be dope to have 4 people. It will be really dope. It's 2 guys and 2 girls now. And both the guys give a different delivery. And then it'll be 2 women on there giving a different delivery. We need that. That would be awesome. Please don't sell yourself short. Congratulations on your baby. And in my personal opinion, I'm sorry, because to me, it don't seem like you have the right team around you to help you balance both blessings at the same time. Blessings come in the form of chaos. So please remember that too. Don't miss your blessing that you've always prayed for because you're lost in the sauce of the chaos. If you can, step back and really think about what you have. I did a small Google search. I guess you can say Google. I did a computer search and I typed in on Copilot by way of Microsoft. And I typed in what's going on with Just Hilarious. And I'm going to read you what the Copilot artificial intelligence generated for myself. Because I am not going to give credit. I'm not going to be up here reading from somewhere acting as if I comprise these notes myself. So my sources cited, and I'm going to apply this to the video. So I typed in what's going on with Just Hilarious, and let me scooch this over so I can not strain my eyes. It says Just Hilarious, a co-host on The Breakfast Club, has been in the spotlight recently due to some behind-the-scenes tension. After returning from the maternity leave, she expressed frustration about changes to the show, particularly regarding Loren LaRosa, who had filled in for her during her absence. Blindsided when Loren's role became more permanent without prior communication. She aired her grievances on Instagram Live, addressing her feelings about the situation and the lack of support from her co-host. The two addressed their issues on air, with Jess clarifying that her frustrations were more about miscommunication than Loren herself. Despite the drama, Jess acknowledged Loren's talent and contributions to the show. And that's pretty much what I was expressing before I read what is going on. And that is actually the deets and the rundowns up to the minute as of 8:15 p.m. March 19th, 2025. That's exactly what's going on right now. Just once again, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Figure some things out before you just let this go. I've been in a situation where I had a job I liked and management was slow to getting to my grievances, so slow. I had to find the perfect escape route so I wouldn't shoot myself in the foot or my family because it was just too much. Let's say by the time they got to me, a year had passed and the damage had almost already been done. But that was beside the point because I'd already figured out an exit plan to leave my way to the best of my ability. So what I'm saying is I did my best to leave on a good note when the fires got too hot. You want to leave on a good note. It's, because that's just how you want to do. That's the professional thing to do. Do your best to leave on a good note. So if you find yourself not having the temperance to deal with this anymore, find your way to leave on a good note because you have a contract. That's what you said. Refocus, knowing that you're going to leave this situation, a blessing that was, in my opinion, short-lived if you choose to live. Or in another token, just a pedestal to launch you somewhere else. Use this time that you have in reference to your contract. Do more than go along to get along if you can. End on a high note and start strategizing what you want to do next. After all, you're a mom. You have so many things you can do with that now. You have new material. Since you're a comedian, you can start talking about mommyhood and how you thought it was going to be this, or that. The way things are going, you might be on the road to getting married, so you can talk about that. You have new material, and you can even turn this whole Jess Hilarious Breakfast Club debacle into a comedy thing. So those are some ideas that I'm going to give because I just don't want to see you lose. I was going through google.com when I was searching for the right thumbnails I wanted to use to pick for you for this picture, the thumbnail, and you have a lot of good looks, meaning like fashion looks and makeup looks. So have you considered talking about fashion and makeup and streetwear? Because it seems like the way you dress, just by a glance, you dress really fashionable, but it's got like a street flair edge. So you have a lot of possibilities. I'd like for you to end this whole Breakfast Club on a high note because after all, they did extend a hand and they hired you. No different from you saying, Jess, if it wasn't for you, Miss LaRosa wouldn't have even been on there. Okay, well, what goes around comes around. Let's not bite the hand that feeds us too tough. But if you need to be firm, you can kind of just nick it a little bit, but don't bite it completely off. And I say nick it just so they won't walk all over you. Draw a line in the sand to stand firmly where you stand. Say it once, stand on it, bide your time, wait for the contract to go out, then go about your way peacefully. And that's it. My name is LA, pronounced like LA like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. You already know what you got to do. You already know what you want to do. Thank you for coming in. Y'all have a good night. See you later.